wait, where did all my money go? If you've ever found yourself wondering, wait, where did all my money go? Or you keep swiping that card even when you know you shouldn't, this video is for you. Let's talk about why we overspend and, more importantly, what are some tools we can use to stop. But first, if you're new around here, hi, my name is Lydia Senn and I make videos on frugal and simple living. We're a debt-free family of 6 and I like to talk about how to save time and how to save money because I believe you can do both. So if that sounds nice to you, I would love for you to subscribe and join this community. From late night Amazon scrolls to Target trips that were just for toothpaste, overspending feels like it happens in a blink. But today I'm giving you real tools to break the cycle without feeling deprived or overwhelmed. But before we go any further, I just want to say that this is going to be a grace-filled money discussion, and I'm not going to shame you for spending because your spending habits are often morally neutral. You're not dumb because you sometimes overspend. You are a human being who is still learning how to manage money. You weren't taught, but you can still learn. So let's learn together. Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, I'm going to overspend today. We don't do it because we're irresponsible. It's usually emotional, stressful, boredom, comparison. All of these fuel impulse buying, and those little dopamine hits that you sometimes feel like you need, they add up fast. Here's the key. If you're not aware of why you overspend, you'll never be able to stop. So we have to start by tracking our spending, but also how we're feeling. It's really important to track your spending. Just give yourself 1 week, track it, don't judge, and then kind of go back and look at what you were doing. I highly recommend just putting it in the Notes app on your phone. Usually that's dated when you start. You can do it in a Google Calendar and just do it every single day so that you can go back and look at the dates. And the reason I'm putting an emphasis on the date is because if you are overspending on certain days, you can go back and look, okay, what was going on that day? Was that around an anniversary of a death? Was I in my Loodle phase? Was I dealing with some sort of outside stressor? Was it on a day where I feel particularly busy? Was the baby up the night before? Was a lot going on at work? Oftentimes spending and emotions are tied together. And this is a story that I tell a lot, but way back in 2018, I had a miscarriage. I had recurrent miscarriages between 2016 and 2019. And I lost a baby, and that baby was due in January. And I was standing outside the church nursery going to pick up one of my kids. And I heard someone say to another mom, so when are you due? And she said January 3rd, and that was my due date. And when I got home that afternoon, my husband had to go out of town for work. And so I'm sitting here in the house, my kids were napping, and I picked up my phone and I just started scrolling Amazon. And before I knew it, there were about 7 things in my cart. And I had to pause and think, why am I doing this? And it was because I was alone with my thoughts and I didn't want to be alone with my thoughts. I just wanted life to keep going. And so I was using spending to self-soothe instead of actually allowing myself to feel my feelings and process and grieve. Spending triggers don't just have to be sad things. A piece of advice that I often give is don't make big financial choices during a big life transition. And life transitions aren't always sad. I mean, they can be a divorce, a death, loss of a parent, loss of a job, but it can also be happy things like having a baby, buying a new home, getting a new job, getting married. And some of those things do come with financial decisions. But just because you bought a brand new house doesn't mean you have to buy all brand new furniture and pots and pans. Just because you got a little bit of a raise doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy a brand new car or a new television or whatever. You can give yourself a minute to celebrate, rejoice in your accomplishments, and then thoughtfully make purchases. But the foundation of all of this really needs to be tracking your spending. Just 1 week, just write it down, put it in the Notes app, and don't judge it. We're just gathering information, not shame. So my next tip is to remember the 24-hour rule. Add it to the cart, but don't buy it for 24 hours. This is a little cool off period. You're gonna put in that cart tonight, and in the morning, you're gonna realize you don't really need it. You likely didn't want it to begin with, or maybe you can wait. So did I tell you our TV broke? I swear everything in our house is breaking down right now, but we've got a pretty large TV in our living room. My husband won it at a manager's meeting. My kids were so excited when that happened. And it just stopped working. And so our initial reaction was, okay, we'll just go to Walmart, buy a new one. We'll go to Best Buy and buy a new one. And then I thought, wait, weren't we just talking about how we think our kids are watching too much TV? And I mean, we have a TV in our bedroom so that we can watch things after the kids go to bed. And I love having a TV in my bedroom. It's my favorite thing. It makes me feel like the fanciest woman alive. Okay. But I mean, we could move that into the living room if we needed to. This is not a need. Like, nobody needs a TV. Let's just wait. And Jason and I decided that we're going to wait until closer to the holidays when we want to do holiday movie time. And then maybe we'll buy a new TV. Maybe we'll move the other one. But for now, we're kind of enjoying not having a TV in our living room. And so while the gut reaction was, let's replace it, we gave ourselves a beat and realized that's not really something we want to spend money on right now. My next tip is to lock up the credit cards. Remove saved cards from your phone. If you have to get up, remove saved cards from your phone, from Amazon, from other shopping websites, because if you have to get up and go find the card, you're going to give your brain a pause. I recently deactivated my Amazon Prime account that I've had for a decade. To be honest, Amazon doesn't need any more of my money. And I felt like, one, I'm spending mindlessly, and two, I am contributing to overconsumption in America. And if I look around my house at all the stuff, I don't need any more stuff. Anything that I can buy on there, I can buy from another website, a store near me. I do buy a lot of books, but I would rather support my local independent bookstore or bookshop.org. And so that's what I'm going to choose to do instead. There are still some things that I can only get on Amazon, or I choose between two big box retailers. And so for convenience sake, yeah, maybe I'll order on Amazon. But I removed my credit card from the website, and I'm just not using it anymore. And it's saved us a shameful amount of money. Even if you budget, because we had a line item budget just for Amazon. And my thinking was, oh, that's for toilet paper and shampoo and all this other stuff. Nope. So for you, maybe it's not Amazon. Maybe it's DoorDash or Instant Cart or something like that. That's a convenience. In fact, I heard a quote recently that said the convenience you demanded has now become mandatory. And so sometimes that slightest inconvenience of just going and getting our card is what gives us a minute to breathe, take a second, and not buy that thing. My next tip is to change up your routine. So if you're driving past Target every day as you go pick up your lunch, or you drive to work, or you go pick up your kids, maybe find a different route. So for a long time, Target was really close to where my daughter does her therapy. I would just swing in while she's in therapy. I would just swing in to the Target. And then I decided, instead I'm going to use this time where I was going to Target and clean out my car, go for walks, take my other kids to the park. I have not been inside a Target at all this year. They also do not need any more of my money. Okay, so maybe changing up your routine a little bit can be a barrier to spending money. Okay, so my next tip, make a budget that is fun. Okay, how are budgets fun though? Well, on a surface level, they're not, but giving yourself a little bit of money to spend on fun things, like a grown-up allowance, allows you to spend guilt-free, which keeps you from feeling deprived, and then you're less likely to binge spend. Saying I'm just not going to spend money isn't always realistic, and so giving yourself a little bit, just a little bit, where you can spend on an area on something that you truly enjoy. For me, it's coffee and books. then I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. What are you craving? Sometimes when you spend money, you're trying to fulfill something. What are you actually craving? Connection, a break? Try swapping that spending urge for something that fills you up, like a 10-minute walk, calling a friend or your mom, journaling, watching a show, listening to a podcast, reading a book. Whatever is filling that void that spending was filling is going to be healthier, more productive, and likely cheaper. Remember that you don't have to be perfect with your money. You just have to be aware. You just have to keep moving forward. Every small choice adds up. Remember, $10,000 a year is just $27 in change. And if you get in control now, you're going to feel better later. Also, remember your why. Why do you want to save? Why do you want to get out of debt? Why do you want to get in control of your finances? Is it to feel like you're not in survival mode anymore and to have some money in your savings? Is it to be out of debt? Is it to go on a vacation or buy a new car or just feel some security? Because just saying, I just want to save more money, I want to spend less money, is not specific enough. For goals to work, what is that? They have to be specific, measurable. Oh my gosh, I'm going to look up the SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so when you're setting goals for your finances or you're coming up with your why for why do I want to save money, just think about that. Be specific. Set yourself a time limit. I'm trying to save money so that in 6 months from now, I can achieve this goal by putting this much money aside each paycheck. Write it all out. They're going to be personal for you, but at the end of the day, you got this. You can do this. And I'm proud of you for trying. So thank you for being here. Also, what tips would you leave to help someone with their spending triggers? What has helped you? Leave me a comment below and I'll see you in my next video.